Hi everyone, I am so excited for this. This is, I guess it's part one of a new pen day video because I've actually chosen 12 inks that I want your help deciding. We're going to swatch them in a second. I've chosen them based on the colors within this. And then once we choose one, I'll then do a standalone new pen day video on this. But we are choosing ink today for hitting everything. In a second, I'll tell you what's just happened in the last 30 seconds. The most beautiful of gifts from Pen Friend Tea. My first ever Esterbrook estie in the botanical garden. Beautiful. It's just, yeah, beautiful. I'm not going to open it. We're not going to go through it because I would like some help choosing a color. So I've set it up a little bit differently today. I've written out the names already just in my normal dip pen. So you can kind of see what a dry writing sample looks like. Obviously a little bit different. Is that even in frame? What if I put it there? How are we going here? If I put that there, and I also just super quickly, I just dipped the nib into Parker Quink Black, just so if you'd like to comment and help me, and I'll see if I can put a poll in the post section as well. And the one that wins. That's kind of the line width we're looking at. So it's a fine nib. The dots around it all. As I was closing the lid of the ink, I did it too fast and it went everywhere. So that was fun. And then I got these in a pack of 3. I've now broken 2. This is my last one. So I'm just going to do the swatches with this today to hopefully not break the last one. So I'll jump straight into it. As I said, I had, there we go. So I've written out the names. I have, 10 or so. And I've kind of, I looked through my swatch book and my inks with the pen in hand, just turning it in my hand, and wanted to, it wasn't specifically about color matching specifically, but I've chosen some greens and browns and burgundies. Now, if you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I love burgundy. I actually tried really hard not to pull out a lot of burgundy. You should have seen the list at first was like 30 inks, and I've really tried to narrow it down and not just keep into that colorway because I love it so much, and try and explore other inks as well and bring out some of these beautiful colors. So I'll jump straight in, and I think if I get through this entire video and actually match the swatch up to the where I've pre-written, I don't know what prize I get, but I get a prize. I feel a little bit uncomfortable. So, and then I'll ink it up and we can look at the pen, do a writing sample, compare it to some others, etc. I think this pen is so special. It deserves 2 videos, which means I need to get these videos out quickly, this one at least, so then I can actually ink it up, and I would really like to use it. Patients do not have the immediate dopamine release, Sarah. So the first ink I chose, I haven't swatched with this guy in a while, so let me see, is Diamond Safari, which I believe was part of their 50-year anniversary? This ink I bought a couple of years ago, like definitely like on a whim. I'd never bought any of the big Diamond bottles before. Don't put it in my tea. And I like looking at it. I really like this ink. I have not used it enough. I think I said in a couple of videos ago, when I first started out with pens, I definitely thought I would like greens more than I do in terms of inking them up. I'm slowly discovering the olive green, sandy green, brown undertone is where I'm happier. But I really am not, still, like I haven't found the one, except maybe for Diamond Wagner. why can I never say that name? Wagner, which I just froth over. Have never found one that I reach for again and again. That would literally be the only one. But I don't know if you can see, as it, like, at least in the writing sample when it's dry, the kind of earthy undertones I definitely like. And so I wanted to put it in as a contender. Speak English, please. So that is the first contender. Next up is a Ferris Wheel Press ink, Moss Park Green. And I think what's so, incredible about this pen is there's so many different inspirations even within the one color of the resin. Like, even if you just looked at the green resins, there's so many variations and colors there. I don't know if I have a lot of this sample left, so it's a bit harder to get it on my little nib. But when I learned, it's called a speedball nib. There you go. Whoopsies. Did I literally go, oh, I'll use this so I don't break my dude and break that? Hopefully not. Straight away when I look at it, the Diamond Safari is a preference over that one for me, but I wanted to put it in there. Can you see what I mean? Like, you've got your olivey browny greens in there and then your lighter ones. There is blue through it. I don't really like blue, so I haven't gone with that, but that is option number 2. And maybe remember to drink my tea. Maybe that's what I can get. If I actually manage to swatch all of these in the right space, maybe I get a glass of wine. Oh, you're so smart, Sarah. Next up is an ink from Fan Yan Tan called Lushan, and I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong, but let's go with it. This ink for me is on the cusp of a green black. It definitely isn't a full one. I think I just damaged this nib. That's so annoying. But okay, we're moving this. What if I put it there? It's not fully there, but I think you can see it getting towards that darker part. So you can tell I haven't swatched. This is why I don't really like using this nib, because it can, if I press slightly too hard, I don't know if you can see, it kind of creases the paper a little bit. Okay, I think I did damage that nib. All right, we're going for the last one, and this means it's not going to be consistent, but bear with me. Let's just chuck a bit more up in there. I was actually looking through one of my old swatch books the other day when I used to use the measuring cup, and it was a lot more labor intensive because I had the syringe and that. But oh, I love how it looked. And part of me wants to go back to that. I just really liked the measuring cup. I also really liked when I would do the sandwich bag. Again, very labor intensive. I like that this book is becoming uniform, but whether I need to do that in another one, I'm always thinking, right, how many times do we swatch and re-swatch and re-swatch, like with these things? Like, how many times do you re-swatch all of your inks? 1,000. So that's our third option. For me, the reason I chose this one was, I guess, similar to kind of these. It's the green with that kind of brown. You can see that kind of splitting, that chroma shading there. Super different to how the brown comes up in the Ferris Wheel Press ink, but another version. I think I take back, maybe it's actually not on the cusp of a green black. I think in the writing sample it is, and it's going to be in a fine nib. So I feel like in this pen, it would be on the cusp of that. Next up, an ink I really, really like, and an ink brand I'm just loving at the moment. This is Cedarwood from Pen BBS. Pen BBS is it's my vibe at the moment. I'm really enjoying almost any Pen BBS ink I put into a pen, except one that stained my TWSBI, but that's my bad. I didn't research it first. And again, like as I've been saying probably throughout my last 5 videos, maybe I'm finally finding my green happy place, because this Ooh. So we're now moving into the browns. They would be the greeniest of greens that I've chosen. Call me crazy, but the Ferris wheel press actually I think would look quite nice in that. But we shall keep going. So the last one for this page, an ink that needs no introduction. I'm sure everyone here knows it well. It's Pilot Iroshizuku Inaho. Do we say Inaho? Do we say Inaho? I don't know, but I'm no ho, so sorry if that was a bad, rude joke. I try really hard not to swear on this channel, and sometimes it comes out. But I was just watching a video, and like within the first like 3 seconds, she dropped a couple of F-bombs, and I was like, hard relate, girl. Like, amazing. Tell it how it is. And it's made me go, maybe I don't need to be as careful. But sometimes, I don't know do you connect, like, because this community is so beautiful, in my head I go, oh, is everyone maybe really wholesome, and therefore my kind of rough around the edges wouldn't fit? But not like trad wife wholesome, like just really nice. And then in my head I go, really nice, like literally, for example, right? Really nice plus dropping Oka F-bombs maybe doesn't pair. And I try and not swear in front of my kids, but anyway, I literally just watched that video before when I was just writing these names out. So they're the first 5 to look at, and I will do the next page once this dries. But I'll bring it up close. How beautiful is that Pen BBS Cedarwood? So Diamine Safari, Moss Park Green, Ferris Wheel Press, Lushan, Cedarwood, and Inaho from Pilot Iroshizuku. I'll do it like this. I don't know if maybe I can zoom in when I actually edit. But I think all of them would be beautiful. But oh, how beautiful is that ink? Ooh, I have a sample of that. And I feel like I will get through that sample pretty fast. If this one doesn't win, I'm going to just have to put it in another pen for March, I think. All right, stay with me. And stay with me doesn't make sense. Hang 10, hang tight, back in a min. All of those sayings, once it dries, I'll do the next. I've got 6 more, so that's 11 in total. So I will be back in a second. Okay, they are dry. So I will show you the next 6 that I picked out. And I said before, genuinely asking for your opinion. So I would love to know if you like, not just opinion, like the ink that gets the most, choose this one is what I will ink up. And I would put a poll in as well, the day that this comes out. So as I said before, tried not to do too many of the burgundy happy places, went through the greens kind of into then the olive, and now some browns, and then a couple of the brownie ready goodness. So first cab off the rank is Robert Oster Honeybee. This feels like a really wet ink, so potentially could get some nice flow and pooling, etc. in the fine nib of the Esterbrook. That's the first one. Next one, also honey, but it's KWZ Honey. I don't like honey as a pet name, I have to say, like when people call each other, hi honey, how you going? Don't like that. And it makes me think of the opening scene of Pulp Addiction in the diner, the couple that are robbing the diner and he calls her Honey Bunny. But yeah, don't like. I mean, I don't know if I really like pet names in general. Honey as a substance, love. but you know, climate change, killing all the bees. Just looking at those two, between the two honeys, I can see really reason for both of them. They both bring out, or they both could bring out, pardon me, different aspects of that gold and lush amber that is in there. Another Robert Oster ink next. Chose this one for two reasons. The first one is I think it could work, but I've also had this sample for a while and I don't think I've ever actually put it into a pen. From my pen friend Jay. I reckon I got this in like 2023. I feel like oh, might be a lame joke. I was going to say I feel like I'm like a teenager exploring my sexuality when it comes to like me and brown inks. Like I'm interested in them, haven't fully deep dived into them. Am drawn sometimes, but haven't, I'm on the precipice. So maybe when it comes to brown inks, I'm, I don't know, 18, first year of uni and want to like make out with a girl for the first time. And seeing as though I have really strictly only made out with women since 18, maybe I really like brown inks. So you can't see me, but I just got very flushed in the face because it started off as what I thought was a lame joke and then just got lamer. So they're the first 3 of the 6 different variations of the brown. Look how light that honeybee looks. Honey, middle, and then the toffee. I'm not necessarily sure if it's warmer, but you can see the kind of orange undertones coming through in the swatch. Maybe not as much in the writing sample, which I do take into consideration. It actually almost, the black halo is a lot more present in the writing sample, but we'll see what happens when that dries up. Next up, I swatched this ink in my Melbourne Pen Posse video. I hadn't ever tried this and I loved it so much. On the way home from the Pen Posse, I bought a bottle from Bookbinders and I always butcher the name. It's Shiunjo, Pilot Iroshizuku. And probably no surprise that I love this ink because does it remind you of KWZ's Brown Pink? Yes. And I love it. It is beautiful. When it dries, I'm pretty confident it has a bit of a brown-black sheen that can pop up. I'm not a big sheen person, again, with the nibs I use, and I always just end up smudging it. But it'll be interesting to see once it dries if that comes up. Can't really see anything in the writing sample there, but just to show you next to the pen. Ooh, gorgeous. And then 2 more. Australian Shiraz from Robert Oster. And if I have 2 more and I haven't made that mistake, because I actually have swatched in the right spot, maybe an Australian Shiraz is coming my way. Oh, that is such a beautiful ink. Oh. For anyone in Australia, actually, speaking of wine, if you're looking for a good wine subscription service, not sponsored, I wish, from your mouth to God's ears, even though I don't believe in God, I have for a few years now, I've used Good Pear Days, and it's an Australian company and they kind of work with like smaller wineries and you can get really good quality and you can do a subscription box or a one-off and then you get points and but I can highly, highly recommend. So that is Australian Shiraz from Robert Oster. And last but not least, Red Maple from Ostrich Inks. I wonder if they do wine subscriptions in other countries. I'm sure they do. It's a genius thing. They don't just do wine at Good Pear Days. They do other stuff too. And I actually had, because I've been doing it on and off for a few years, I had enough points that I actually was to get my work bag currently I got with points from there. And then they've started this thing with points. If like there's a damaged bottle, like the label might be a bit off, you can get that. Anyway, and that is Red Maple. looking at the three purpley burgundies, which was very hard to limit myself to, I think these two, the Palette de Roche-Shizuku and the Robert Oster, suit it more. I was just interested to kind of see what happens if you went with a burgundy that leans more brown, but I think the browns in the Botanical Garden resin are more of that kind of golden colour. And then in terms of choices, we can go purely on colour, and then you can do things like, well, this colourway is called Botanical Garden, so we do things that also have a garden type theme or reference. Cedarwood, Moss Park Green, honey, botanical. I feel like I'd say no one thinks about things that deeply, but we all overanalyze ink into an inch of its life, so I feel like you get me. They are the options I've chosen. That sheen is starting to come through on the Palette de Roche-Shizuku there now. And hopefully the camera's catching that. If I can work it out, I will try and add photos to the poll as well. But please let me know what you would like me to ink it with, and then I will do that and then can actually do a new pen day video with this. Just, it's so beautiful. I'm still a little bit overwhelmed by this experience and this new friend and all of these things. So I sat last night and looked through every ink I had and wrote lists and lists, because I feel like its first inking is special and deserves a pause and some thought. And I didn't even let myself put the Parker ink like into the converter, because then that would be considered like an inking. I just dipped the nib in. I won't read through them all again, but they are what we are choosing from. Let me know, and I can't wait to see what you guys choose.